I never try to ask for help from anybody, but sometimes you got to. You gotta swallow your pride and go on.
And with no rent coming in, it puts a hardship on us as a landlord.
Job loss during the pandemic has created a lot of worry for people trying to stay in their homes and landlords as well. A federal moratorium is buying some time for most renters, though.
Yeah, Bob Jones explains in this Home in Akron report, 2020 remains an emotional roller coaster.
For many, keeping a home in Akron is challenging, especially in a city that has the highest eviction rate per capita in the state. Throw in a pandemic and it gets tougher. Tonight we take a close look at one eviction case from both sides.
I'm just a simple man that wants to, get through this bad time like anybody.
58-year-old Michael Von Gunten lost his job as a machinist in December of 2019.
But of course, it's depressing. And you're stressed out.
When his unemployment ran out in the spring, Michael struggled to pay his $600 a month rent at this duplex in Akron's Ellet neighborhood.
You feel like a loser, and you gotta survive and keep your head up.
Kelly Bonsky is Michael's landlord.
The COVID is hurting both sides.
Kelly says Michael has a history of late rent payments, and in July, she filed an eviction notice after not being paid for 3 months.
I believe as a landlord, it's pretty much hurting us more than it is them, because we still have to pay those bills.
Kelly says the decision to evict a tenant is emotional.
I understand. I work with my tenants. I've worked with my tenants a lot.
Michael contacted Community Legal Aid to fight to stay in the home.
We do have a pandemic going on, and putting people out in the street, especially when rental assistance is available, just doesn't make sense.
Michael received $1,800 in CARES Act funding, enough to pay the 3 months of rent he owed.
I offered her money and she turned it down.
Kelly says she was already out the money and wanted to rent to someone else.
I didn't want to be forced to take that money out of somebody else's hands that might have needed it more.
This month, the case went before Akron Municipal Court, and there was a twist.
I am required to dismiss both causes for this case.
Okay, and what does that mean, ma'am?
That means that the eviction cannot go forward today.
The case was dismissed because of the CDC moratorium on most evictions through the end of the year. For Michael, there was relief.
My prayers were answered.
For Kelly, frustration.
So what happens if I can't pay the mortgage, can't pay my mortgage because I'm paying everything else? Then I wind up getting evicted.
Michael is now donating his plasma and looking for work to pay his rent. While the landlord and tenant disagree on a lot, they agree to look for hope.
Doing the best I can, and I think there's better days ahead, and I'm not going to let it get me down.
I believe that maybe God will help everybody on this issue, because right now in this COVID pandemic, God's about the only one that's going to really help us right now.
In Akron, Bob Jones, News 5.